BBC Radio Derby, Friday afternoon. Just go with me. I'm telling you, it's Friday. I had to double check out. It's definitely Friday. We are going to play Songbook Story Time for the first time shortly. Got that lovely tale of a family who travelled all the way from Andrew Mann's hometown to be at the game yesterday afternoon for Derby against Borough at Pride Park. We've got Rewind on the way from one. But right now, come with me as we run down the pick of the projects that might make progress in Derby and Derbyshire in 2026. I will warn you now, we are going to talk about the assembly rooms. You never go too long before they come up, do you? Our political reporter, Georgia Roberts, is with me. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Wow, how do you make this interesting and new sounding? Assembly rooms, let's start there. Marketplace, Derby Marketplace, the assembly rooms coming down, things going on, going up. Is what's going on?
Yeah, and we should note as well, in terms of making this stuff interesting and new, 2025 did see some quite tangible changes to the city. The most obvious one, of course, would be the Market Hall finally opening its doors after many, many years. And so it is worth noting some other stuff that is on the horizon, not necessarily grand openings and ribbon cuttings this year, but at least seeing some plans for significant stuff. So on the assembly rooms, so we know that some developers are working with the council on proposals for a new hotel and office space to be built.
This is the thing the drawing came out of, isn't it, with the rooftop bar and all that?
Exactly, yeah. I mean, these plans have been updated many times, but we're looking at that as the current plan. And the consultation on those plans ended in December. So we're expecting to see the planning application being submitted this year for that. And importantly, it should also mean that the demolition of the assembly rooms, which was meant to happen in late autumn 2024, actually maybe starts to make some progress. So the council have said that the summer of this year is their, quote, target for demolition. So we'll see what happens.
There's some political to-ing and fro-ing goes on, isn't there, over the demolition in terms of wanting to knock it down and then opposition members of the council insisting they wait until the plans are in before they can, and then isn't there a thing that I'm hearing about today is now where they're trying to go ahead anyway, and the Conservatives say no, you can't until you know what's going on.
Yeah, this stuff is always and always has been for some years now very sticky, but certainly with some firm plans in place submitted and starting to take shape, I think you would expect to see some actual progress on that this year, so we'll have to hold councillors to that.
Let's take a few steps across to the opposite side of the marketplace. This came up last time we had a hot seat, actually, with Nadine Peakfield, the council leader. Guildhall Theatre. That's another one that feels like it's just been going on for ages and no one sees anything happening.
It's been closed for 7 years, roughly. But last month, the City Council said works are going to start. So they've put aside around 25 million for the overall restoration. Some of that is government funding. It previously said it hoped to reopen it in 2027. That would be a year ahead of the building's, well, this year would be the building's 200th, I think, anniversary. So this next bit of work, so the work is being done in phases. This next bit of work is expected to be the second of 5 stages, and it would mainly involve repairing the auditorium ceiling. So let's see what happens with that again this year. And reopening it, though, we should note, still appears to be some time away. But in terms of seeing those initial designs for what's going to happen, what it's going to look like with these further phases that are going to take place, we should expect to see that this year.
If I were to say to you 3 words, Great British Railways. Again, I lose track of how long we've been saying it's going to be in Derby. It's coming to Derby. It's going to be in Derby. It's nothing there yet.
Yeah, no, it's not. And just to remind people what this is, so Great British Railways is going to be the new overall rail body in charge of ticketing and pricing, and everything's going to be brought under control in terms of how we travel on trains across the country. Under this new body, the government says it's going to make travelling way more efficient. It's dependent on Labour passing the Railways Bill, which is still making its way through Parliament. So a lot of this progress depends on that. We heard, I think it was in 2023, that Derby had vetoed the cities to house Great British Railways here. City Council very pleased about that, saying it's going to bring lots of investment and jobs. But the location, we've been waiting for news on that for, well, since it was announced. And I remember asking the Transport Secretary, Heidi Alexander, well, current Transport Secretary, when she was in Derby, where's it going to be? She said, we're still working on it. I have been told that a preference now has definitely been earmarked, but it's not really been confirmed just yet.
Do we know where that is?
Well, the favoured place, some people in the department have said to me, is the area opposite the new Valiant Library in the Beckettwell area. And also, we have heard from developers saying, lobbying the government, saying it should be housed there. But we'll see. That was the back end of last year, and it's not been confirmed. And we've got a number of other possible places it could be: Derby Works, Midland House, Pride Point, and RTC as well. So we're still waiting on that.
That's all very much, I guess, sort of in a square mile, potentially, all of that we've talked about. More broadly across the city or in Derbyshire as a whole, what's to look out for this year?
Well, Belton Mills, I mean, the MP who covers that area, Jonathan Davis, when he was elected, really said, look, I want to take hold of this. These mills, they've been lying derelict for ages, and I want to see some real progress. He promised in the summer there'd be real change, and he was getting the owners together and Amber Valley Borough Council to and UNESCO as well, of course, with the heritage concerns, putting a plan in place and making sure that everybody was trying to unify and submit some plans to actually start to look at some changes. Now, the owners, I've been in contact with them recently, they have now submitted their plans. They want to turn the big block, the East Block, into apartments, and there's an agreement in principle to look at the north side and turn that into a heritage centre and museum. They say now that Amber Valley have everything they need to look at this properly and make a decision. It's very complex because the heritage concerns, and lots of money would be needed to restore it. Amber Valley now say they will look at that application in the early months of this year. Now, that is actually a little bit later than Jonathan Davis was hoping for. He was hoping for the back end of last year. He's now said, come on, you've got everything, everybody's worked hard to put this in place, let's do it. So we'll see what they say about that in the early months of this year. Another one that's to potentially look out for in activity is Elveston Castle. Now, Elveston Castle went through a quite complicated process to put it on the market for community groups to potentially take hold of it and run it last year. That process started under the previous Conservative leaders of Elveston Castle. Reform UK have since taken the reins in Derbyshire. Derbyshire County Council are in charge of the building at the moment. And that process ended unsuccessfully, and I spoke to the deputy leader of Reform, Rob Reamy, recently, who said to me, look, we're now going to make Elveston Castle break even potentially within a year. Actually, it's currently operating at around a £400,000 loss. We've got plans to bring businesses back onto the site. We want to make it profitable. We don't want to sell it, like the Conservatives did. We're going to actually make this into, he even said, the next Chatsworth, which a lot of people, I think, on social media have been like, wow, that's a big claim, but that's what they say they're going to do. So it will be, there's also plans to maybe bring in, entertainment industries and maybe make some money off it that way to let them use the land. So, a lot of people, I think, that's a building that they treasure, grounds that everybody's familiar with, going for a walk for the new year and over the Christmas period. And so I think a lot of people on social media have been saying it would be great to see something done, but whether they can make it profitable within the next 12 months, 18 months is a big claim. We'll see what happens.
Day 2 of 2026, and already there's an awful lot to digest there. There's more as well, actually, than that. In the article that George has written, you can see on the BBC News website and app. But looking ahead with our political reporter, thank you, Georgia.
Radio Derby. Becky Measures at breakfast.
Gary Quinton Shaw, he bought a job lot of stuff for 40 quid containing 2 buttons. Well, he since sold these buttons for more than 60 grand. How on earth did you find these buttons in the first place?
Purely by accident. I just bought a job lotto auction. Never mind my portion of the money. And then when they asked me how much it cost, it cost me the buttons.
Oh, my darling, you're my cup of tea, you are.
Becky Measures at breakfast.
Weekday mornings from 6.
BBC Radio Derby.